How about that throat clear on beat? Mic check. Mic check. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Wherever you are, however you may be listening, thanks for making this part of your day. It's a great day, a beautiful day in Mesa, Arizona. The sun is shining, a high of somewhere around 80, 90, something like that. But there we go. Things are looking up. Just thanks for being here early with us today. Some people didn't get the memo. We'll be here for just a quick show, 2 hours today. And then I got to run over to the school and watch a presentation about something called water wall. I have no earthly idea what water wall is, but that's what we're gonna go see. So I'll keep you guys abreast on that on Monday. I'll let you know how awesome the water wall was. Jen, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, everyone's favorite Oasis song.
You're gonna have to share like pictures or something of the water wall.
I will. I think they like. I think I explained it. I think it's. I think they like put crafts on a wall and it has water or something. I don't know what the presentation's going to be. So
I just Googled water wall. I'm just kind of looking to see if there's. I mean, I see a lot of it like in resorts and stuff like that where the water goes down the wall, but I haven't seen it with like.
Be crazy if it worked up the wall. I'm seeing like kids crafts.
So here's I found this picture.
Would that be amazing if it was just an Oasis concert? This is a water wall.
Pull this up. See in our chat.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, maybe it looks something like that. Yeah, but that seems about right.
That would make sense. Something like that.
Yeah, just my favorite part about school is how often they're like, hey, bring your trash. Have your kids bring some of your trash from home and bring it to school. Just constantly, she's like, I need that toilet paper, like the inside part, the cardboard, or like I need that plastic water bottle.
Yeah, Swan had to bring a shoebox for something today.
Ooh.
So I don't know what it's for, but she needed a shoebox for something. So.
All right. You got any crimes planned for the weekend?
Nothing that I want to admit to online. That's
okay.
You don't want to admit your crimes ahead of time.
Okay.
That's how you get caught, Jay.
I've got a very open weekend. This is the first weekend in a long time. I have nothing to do, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll go to church on Sunday. We'll try that out. Give Christianity another shot.
You know what? I just remembered, and I'm probably going to find this screenshot. I think when we first started working together.
Back when you were Christian?
I've never been Christian. So, I mean, I guess I was by default Catholic, but whatever. And it wasn't my choice. But I think I remember you said something like helping out. I'm like, as long as it's nothing illegal, I don't look that great in orange. We had that conversation. I know you don't remember, but we had a conversation like that. So.
I think you'd probably look fine in orange. I know that it doesn't fit with your Wednesday demeanor, but I think orange might work for you. I think there's a 50-50 chance you wind up in prison at some point.
No.
You're definitely going to deserve to be in prison, but whether or not you get caught is the other story.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really built for that life, I don't think. I'm not a large size person, and I don't think I could be cut out for that.
I think you'd do great in prison, honestly. And I mean that respectfully. I think that not that you should go there, but I think if you got there, you'd be running shit pretty quickly. I think you'd be running some sort of operation to like smuggle things in.
Possibly.
Yeah, not a bad idea. If shit goes south, maybe you just run prison.
Right. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it sounds a little restricted for me, but.
It's a little, well, you probably would have you'd probably get like days off. You do have don't want to compare you often to Ghislaine Maxwell, but you could pull off that kind of treatment.
Yes, I mean maybe I can work something out, but we'll see. We'll see. Well, I'll try to avoid it if at all possible. So.
Well, do your thing. Let's get started. We don't have a lot of time.
All right. Well, like everybody knows, this is our job. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 to 1. We've got our gift goal that we need to hit. You guys were awesome yesterday, so if we could do something similar to yesterday, that would be greatly appreciated. Because it's how we pay our bills and how we can keep doing this each day. If you haven't subscribed to us already, please do so. You can use a free subscription on YouTube. But if you want to join us for members only events, if you're a paid member on either Twitch or YouTube, any of the tiers, you can join us for those events. We'll have another one coming up. Not this upcoming Wednesday, but the one after. If you disagree with RTP, you can come up and talk. Send me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. And I can bring you on. So yeah, going back to the donations mentioned, if you want to know our preference, any of the pay links, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, are our preference. But we also take super chats to go towards the goal. So yeah, check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We got merch, Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. 2 wind turbines are standing in a field.
2 winter mimes?
Turbines.
Wind turbines. I heard winter mimes. I'm disappointed in this joke already because I wanted winter mimes. But wind turbines. Okay. Got it?
Wind turbines. One asked the other, what's your favorite kind of music? The other said, I've always been a huge metal fan.
I bet the other one's least favorite band is the Byrds. Hey! I don't know. All right, let's get started. Piers Morgan brought on an entire crybaby panel to complain about a joke told at a roast by Tony Hinchcliffe. And do we show the joke? Do you know the joke I'm talking about? I feel like this is going to piss some people off, but maybe we just do it anyways. Pete Davidson told a joke. Do you guys want to see the joke? Does everybody know, or does everybody know the joke? Does everybody know the joke that Pete Davidson did about Tony Hinchcliffe?
I know the joke. The joke.
All right, I'm going to play. Can I play the joke, Jen? What do you think?
Play the joke. Play the joke.
All right, here's the joke. And can I just say, again, I wouldn't make this joke on my show, but I cover politics. It's kind of my job. This is a fucking roast. When you have a roast, you say awful shit all the time. This is Pete Davidson making a joke about Tony Hinchcliffe. If you don't know who Tony Hinchcliffe is, he's the comedian that performed at a Trump rally called Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage. And he hosts a show called Kill Tony where he makes millions of dollars off the backs of hopeful comedians who do 1-minute sets, and then he makes fun of them. So whatever. It's all jokes. It's all comedy. Comedy and politics can be very separate. It should have been separate for this, but conservatives never let anything go. Everything is political to conservatives. They are the most crybaby a bunch of bitches I've ever seen in my life. So here's the joke.
Tony Hinchcliffe is here, looking like both a child molester and the doll they give the child to show where he touched them. Tony reminds me of Charlie Kirk, in that he's definitely been on camera letting a guy unload in his throat.
The joke's not about Charlie Kirk, just so we can be clear there. The joke is not at Charlie Kirk. It's about Tony Hinchcliffe filming himself getting loads. What's that? No, that was as loud as it went. Yeah. That's the joke. So naturally, Piers Morgan brought on a bunch of snowflakes outside of Dave Smith, who handles this well. Dave Smith is a libertarian, conservative, also a stand-up comedian. This is Adam Sosnick, who is the co-host of the PBD podcast. Not very good at his job. I forget her name. She's an idiot. This is the idiot that Dean dunks on all the time that has perpetual I'm holding in a fart face. Just that all day. And I don't know who this guy is, but apparently he said the N-word, and then he used the variation of that starts with a W to Piers Morgan later. I don't know who he is. I'm just going to assume he's a Nazi. But this is the panel they brought together to cry about a joke, and I wanted to show this. Girls fart too, bro. I don't have a problem with girls farting. Don't hold it in. That's problematic. And if you are going to hold it in, perhaps set your face a little bit differently so it's not so obvious that you're holding in a fart. That's all I'm saying.
of anyone doing comedy is to try to get everyone in the room to crack up laughing.
Right.
That's the goal. Pete does it. The goal when Pete tells that joke isn't like to get people to walk out. It's to kill to make it as edgy as possible and still hit you with a big punchline. And that's it. That's the way comedy works. It's a discussion.
Yeah, reasonable take there from Dave Smith. Well done. Proud of you, Dave Smith, who's again actually a stand-up comic, but like crying about Charlie Kirk has become like a top 3 political belief for conservatives. Just any time they can say Charlie Kirk and then become the victim, they are ready for it.
Between the comic and the audience.
Well, I'll say that joke was
that
the reason that we're having this discussion right now is because the joke was actually, in my opinion, Dave, you're entitled to yours, not funny. It was completely offensive. Gay, Tony Hinchcliffe, sexual reference to the throat. Sure.
But Adam, couldn't you acknowledge?
First of all, it was a good, whether you like the joke or not, the way he tied the 2 references together was really well done. The wording of it, it was a well done joke, well constructed.
And I'm not trying to take a shot at you here. You failed out of being a stand-up. Well, you failed out of stand-up comedy, and Pete Davidson became a multi-millionaire famous success from it. So maybe you're not in a position to determine whether it's good comedy or not.
No,
That's tough. That's fair. That's fair. If any of you have watched Adam Sosnick, it's clear why he failed out of being a stand-up comic. And just add that to the list of failed Hollywood stars that became conservative commentators. Ben Shapiro, failed screenwriter. Dave Rubin, failed stand-up comedian and failed actor. Michael Knowles, failed actor. I think Benny Johnson. I never remember if Benny Johnson tried acting or not, but I think he did. And then that one dirtbag who hated his wife, Steven Crowder, also failed stand-up comedian. And once they fail, they're like, oh, well, I do like talking, and I am an idiot, so I'm gonna just be a political conservative commentator. And then they just slide right into that.
The fact that I owned a comedy club and I hired hundreds of comedians gives me the credibility to say,
my God.
I know what's funny and not funny.
There is no
because
opinion.
I've seen people who sell out
Let me
crowds.
just tell you this.
Dave, listen, let me speak. Dave, let me speak. You just spoke.
There's no one's opinion.
Relax, Dave. Let me at least speak. Okay, I'm just...
I wanted to hear the rest of that, because I'm pretty sure what Dave was about to say is, as a stand-up comedian, no stand-up comedian thinks that the opinion of the owner of the comedy club fucking matters. You hire people based on popularity. It's not fucking tryouts. You're not running you're not running American Idol over here, or Last Comic Standing. You just hire comedians. Nobody thinks that makes you a good judge of comedy. And again, I thought it was a funny joke.
Are you gonna let me speak or no?
I'm pretty relaxed.
You started so well, you two.
Okay, that's
Maverick, we're currently watching a panel of snowflakes being crybaby bitches because somebody made a joke that included the reference of Charlie Kirk. And I wanted to start the show today by mocking how soft and thin-skinned conservatives are. Welcome, buddy.
fine. Well, that's fine. The reality is this. The reason we're doing this show right now, because it really wasn't that funny. What's the funniest joke Pete Davidson has ever said other than that joke? Dave Smith, comedian.
I will tell you. One time at a roast, Pete Davidson looked over at Ann Coulter and said, if Ann Coulter's here, who's scaring the crows away from our crops? I liked that one. In another roast, he said he thanked Shaq for taking time away from throwing barrels at Super Mario to be here. That's a funny joke. I think Pete Davidson's very funny. Also, keep in mind that there were a bunch of jokes about people dying. Pete Davidson's dad died in 9/11. He was a firefighter that died trying to rescue people on 9/11. And every roast, Pete Davidson, like multiple people make jokes about Pete Davidson's dad dying, and he just laughs because Pete Davidson isn't a bitch.
I know a ton of
exactly. He's never told a funny joke.
All right, let me bring in Emily Wilson.
Adam,
Emily,
really
welcome back to
one of the dumbest people who talks for a living.
Sorry, we have to bring that one more time. I love Dave Smith for this.
Exactly. He's never told a funny joke.
All right, let me bring in Emily Wilson.
Adam,
Emily, welcome back to
one of the dumbest people who talks for a living.
Really, the PBD podcast is. It might be the one I watch the most. It is the dumbest political podcast out there, and I mean that with I mean that seriously. I don't know if there is a podcast that has more dumb points than the Patrick Bet David podcast. Leanne said, I fell back asleep during the live. I meant to send today. I hate it when that happens because I can hear Jay yelling and making weird noises in my dream. That's terrifying. I'm sorry, Leanne. Thank you. That was from yesterday. Thank you very much for that. And I love you, Leanne. You're one of my favorite people. I appreciate you in many ways. Lisa said, for love you all, have a great weekend. Thank you, Lisa. Just a reminder, guys, we're only going for 2 hours a day. We'll be done at 11 PST. I have to run to my daughter's school for a program that is going to be unfucking believable. So there we go. Missing super chats there. Let's jump into the news. Remember those two women yesterday from the Alliance for, it's hard for me not to say girls. I'm working on that when they're so much younger than me, but Alliance for a Better Utah. Those are the people that Kevin O'Leary said were Chinese communist plants. Well, they're back. They made another video today, and they're uncovering even more corruption regarding the AI deal. And the president, or not the president, the Speaker of the House in Utah is not well respected. I think I told you guys this yesterday. Everybody in Utah hates everybody in their politics. Nobody is respected. You get into politics by siding with billionaires and the LDS Church, and then they basically run the entire primary system. And so you're just stuck with a bunch of rich patsies who do nothing for the people of Utah. And here they are to expose some more corruption with the AI data center being proposed to be built in Box Elder County. Even Romney. Well, Romney was never elected in like the state of Utah. He was a Senate candidate, but yes, the fact that Mitt Romney was perhaps at the time the most famous Mormon and a devout Mormon, he'd been a state president, he'd been like a mission president. Yes, he was never going to lose. But Mitt Romney also, in Utah, that Senator Orrin Hatch basically waited until he had somebody he was okay with being his successor to be there, and he waited for Mitt Romney. So yeah, I mean, Mitt Romney was walked into that position. There was no scenario where Mitt Romney was not going to win that position as senator.
So after Kevin O'Leary went on Fox News to accuse us of being operatives for the
thank you, guys. Came a long way to be able to say that today. Proud of you. Thank you. It hurts me to disrespect Mitt Romney. You know that. I appreciate that.
Chinese government, we did not back down on the data center. In fact, we actually dug in more. So today's fresh hill is that Utah Speaker of the House Mike Schultz owns 600 acres near the Stratos project site. As one normally does, we were scrolling around looking at the parcels of land that are right around the proposed data center. And wouldn't you know it, we happened upon a little parcel of land with the owner name being labeled as Mike Schultz Inc. And it doesn't take an investigative journalist to find that it is in fact owned by the Utah Speaker of the House, Mike Schultz. And these two combined—
Jacob said, you guys are awesome. Have a good day with your kid. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate that.
Parcels of land total up to about 640 acres. And that 640 acres is just about 3 miles away from the Stratos project site, right next to the freeway interchange. Huh, that's coincidence.
So like any normal person does, you go to the Box Elder County Recorder's office and you pay $1.50 and you can get the deed for that land. And wouldn't you know it, what this piece of property Mike Schultz bought on January 3rd of 2025. And then to put the cherry on top, all of this land he bought for, quote, $10 and other good and valuable consideration.
When I saw that, I wondered, I haven't looked into that with Howard Lutnick when he bought that property for $10. I wonder if this is the same type of deal where like it doesn't necessarily mean that you bought it for $10. It's just what you put in there.
Apparently, this is like a legal term, the $10 and other good and valuable consideration that people use because in Utah, you don't have to disclose how much you bought this property for. So people put $10 because it satisfies what is legally required without having to disclose exactly what they paid for it, if anything.
I remember doing this. I remember when I bought my first car, I remember doing this. Am I about to admit to a crime? Probably. Statute of limitations good. I bought a car from my sister, and like on the bill of sale, we said it was $10, and then there was some way we got around it so that when I bought or paid sales tax, I could avoid that. There was some rule in Utah that allowed me to get around that.
We're not not saying that Speaker of the House Mike Schultz bought this because he knew that there was a data center project coming. In a recent interview, he said that he only found out about this project in April with everyone else. But what we are saying is it is a pretty big coincidence that he owns this much land right next to this data site that he bought last January. He calls himself a farmer and a rancher. But what you might not know is that before he was a farmer and a rancher, he was
Everyone does that? Is that a normal thing? Okay, cool.
Developer. Mike Schultz is also a millionaire, and his most recent conflict of interest disclosure.
Keith, sorry, I mean to stop this because I saw this earlier today. Another story we're going to cover. Keith, I would like you to give me one specific example of something that Nancy Pelosi did that you said this is exactly like Nancy Pelosi. Because I have this theory that you don't know. I have this theory that you just use Nancy Pelosi as a way to never criticize a Republican.
List 25 business entities, all of those ranging from hotels in Hawaii to real estate to apartment buildings to his private plane. So Mike Schultz does own some farming and ranching land near Hooper. Said correct. We're not Chinese operatives. But his businesses operate from Davis to Box Elder County. And for a man who has 30 years of development experience, he might be exactly the right person to look at 640 acres of land right near a project like this and know exactly how much that land is going to appreciate in the next few years.
So after learning all of this, we decided to look at some other places around the country where they have built data centers and what the land value around the data centers have grown to. So according to Land App, land value around data centers has increased between 2 and 4 times its agricultural value. And an organization called CBRE has said that the land around the data center in Loudoun County, Virginia has increased 16 times compared to the next property value. There are developers that are offering people $4.4 million an acre around other data centers in the United States. Now,
Nothing to see here. Yes, these are the same people from yesterday. They are from an organization called Alliance for a Better Utah. In fact, they run that organization.
We know that Box Elder County is different from Loudoun County, Virginia, or any of these other places, and we are not saying, again, that Mike Schultz bought this property because he knew about this thing that was happening and he knew how much the property value would increase, and he happens to own all of these development companies and construction companies, but these questions have not been asked on the public record. We are not in a position to answer those questions, but we encourage other people to try and get answers to those questions.
Now, Mike Schultz is not the only Utah legislator that happens to own property very close to the Stratos Data Center project. Senator Scott Sandel also owns a large amount of land about...
It's an interesting thing that you just said there. Who said that? Maybe they aren't data centers at all. Who was that? That was Whimsical by Shelley. Yeah. When I've been trying to piece together what Kevin O'Leary is doing and how he intends to make money from this, you start to realize that these data centers aren't for just for data centers, right? The more land they can buy up, the more land they can acquire before, and then put the data center on there, and then convince taxpayers and other people that this land is valuable, the better positioned they are to then sell that land. So for the Speaker of the House to buy this land, which again is in Box Elder County, doesn't make a great deal of sense for him to buy up this land. I don't know what he's planning on farming out there. Yeah, you can farm alfalfa. You could be a corn farmer. I know there's peach farms up there. I guess maybe cattle. I don't think he's a cattle rancher. But for him to buy this land right next to where the proposed data center is, and then also be the one to approve it, and then you look at Kevin O'Leary. Like, Kevin O'Leary is obviously involved in GOP politics, weirdly. And Kevin O'Leary, I think his play here is a natural gas play, because this plot of land that they're looking at goes right over a pipeline. We covered it yesterday. I forget the name of the company. Let me pull this up actually real quick. It might have been Wednesday. Was it yesterday? Was it Wednesday? I think it might have been Wednesday. Let me go back one more. Just because I think it's important to have the name of the company here. I think we should continue to say the name of this company. Son of a bitch. Where is it? Jen, will you find where I talked about O'Leary? Was it yesterday? Guys, was it yesterday that we talked about that? I'm hella laughable. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Here. God damn it. Is it Tuesday? Have we covered this for multiple days? Yeah, there it is. Okay. It's the Ruby pipeline. It's owned by a company called Tallgrass Energy. And we can show you here. Tallgrass Energy acquired this pipeline. And then who acquired Tallgrass Energy? Blackstone Infrastructure Partners. They enter into a definitive agreement to acquire controlling interest in Tallgrass Energy. And Kevin O'Leary has kind of accidentally let it slip. He's like, oh, what I'm going to do, like, this is going to be great for Utah because we're not going to take any of their energy. It's not like we're going to use up what the energy they're consuming, and then any excess we'll sell back. So he's going to be able to access the natural gas from this pipeline, buy energy at a discounted rate, use it to power the data center, which will drive up energy costs everywhere else, including in the state of Utah. And then he'll be able to, any excess that they don't use, he's going to sell to the state of Utah at a profit. That's what this is. This is an energy play here. And the bigger the data center and the more energy that they are capable of producing, the better it is for O'Leary. Bad move for Utah. Bad move for the United States. Bad move for energy prices. Only good for Kevin O'Leary. And when he gets pushback, he calls the people pushing back spies for China. Cool.
Out 3 to 4.
Is it better to invest in BlackRock? Vanguard seems to be a more solid bet. I wouldn't invest in either of them because I think what they do is unethical, and I wouldn't want to support them. But I don't know. Are you talking about like their mutual funds or something? I'm not sure. I think Vanguard's outperforming them. I did look at those the other day. I'm in a different mutual fund.
Miles away from the project. Now, Sandel said on the record that he hasn't been approached about selling his.
Thank you. Water consumption also increases, which is a big fucking problem in Utah. Who's in as long as I've been alive, Utah's been in a drought, and the Great Salt Lake is drying up. If it dries up too much, that's going to release toxic chemicals into the air, which will cause cancer and kill people in Utah. But hey, let's have a big fucking data center.
His land yet, but he might sell it for the right price. And Senator Sandel just happens to be the same Senator Sandel that sponsored SB 132 during the 2025 legislative session. This was the bill that made this Stratos data center possible. What are the chances? All state legislators have to fill out a conflict of interest form every single year, but Mike Schultz Inc. he lists as a holding company. Now, by Utah law, he is not required to say what that holding company owns. There is an optional section of the conflict of interest form, item 6A, where they have the option to disclose if they have investments that might lead.
Cost increase on gas probably wouldn't be offset by the excess electricity they might. No, they're not going to generate more electricity, Maverick. They're literally just taking natural gas. They're not generating any electricity. They just have access to the pipeline. So that's their way of saying that we're not going to take directly energy from the grid because they're building the data center over the pipeline, and they will directly buy their LNG from BlackRock. And then in anything that they purchase and that they have excess left over, they'll sell to the state of Utah, and that will go in the grid. So this is off of the grid. It's not going to be included in the grid stack.
To a conflict of interest. Mike Schultz has left this section blank on every single one of his conflict of interest disclosures. Under Utah law, which Mike Schultz and Senator Scott Sandel have helped to create, all of this is completely legal. Ethical?
So if Kevin O'Leary can go on National Fox...
Daniel said from George Bailey said, here's $5 to tell Maverick to eat all the ticks and another $5 to tell Robert to go fuck himself with the rusty steam pipe. Have a great weekend. Sorry about that, Maverick and Robert. Lucian said, late because you changed your schedule. Happy Friday. That was my bad. I'm sorry.
News and accuse us of being Chinese operatives and ask to audit our books. I think that we should propose some audits of our own. Maybe the timing of all of the meetings that Kevin O'Leary had with state leaders, there are contradicting reports. An audit of the deed and the $10 that Mike Schultz spent, plus his other good and valuable considerations to buy these 2 parcels of land. To be auditing the holding companies and disclosure forms laws around
yes, Maverick.
Our Utah legislators. Maybe we should audit the people who stand to benefit from a project like this and how much their message.
Yes, generate power for their data center. They're not creating power, right? I thought that's what you were saying. They're not creating new power.
Has changed given the public pushback. Because this is a continued pattern that we see in Utah where people in power and people with money are continuing to get more power and more money off the backs of everyday Utahns and destroying our environment while they're at it. If you want to see the full documentation or a beautiful interactive map that Jackie made on Google Maps of where all these parcels of land exist, you can go to our Substack, go to elevateutah.news, and you can see that. And if you once again would like to buy a hat to tell Kevin O'Leary that he is an idiot and his hat sucks, you can buy one of our hats that says Utah Nature Security, and that link is in our bio. We're gonna have to cut off the orders at some point because we have gotten so many. So thank you all for your support. We know there's so much information about this data center going around, but please try and stay updated. We will continue to update you as things come out, and we, yes, are continuing to still dig into all of this.
Awesome. I'm going to try and get them on the show. I haven't heard from them. Court, if you're here, if you want to reach out to them, and if anybody else wants to reach out to them or just check them out, they're betterutah.org is the Alliance for Better Utah, doing unbelievable work and fearlessly fighting back against Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary said something the other day that was like, you girls should you should thank me for giving you a spotlight. And they have not wasted their time in the spotlight. Perhaps that was perhaps he was right. They are using their time in the spotlight to advocate for Utahns and against the overreach of the billionaire class and those women running Alliance for a Better Utah. I could not. Sometimes I'm proud to be from Utah, and they make me proud to be from Utah. So support them if you can. Go get a hat if you can. I'm going to get one. And then Court, if you're here, see if you can find a different contact for him and see if we can get him on the show. I would love to do that. All right, moving on. Kash Patel testified before Congress the other day, and shocking. I know a lot of you will be surprised by this. It appears, hold on to your pants, Kash Patel may not have been telling the truth. I bet Kevin O'Leary uses boner pills. Yeah, he probably does. Fun fact, your dad's dead. Fun fact, I'm a necrophiliac. Blue Chew, give me all the dicks. And if you don't have the budget for boner pills, just remember, you can do a Kegel experience. What you want to do, Lispy, is you want to pretend like you're stopping your pee, okay? Like, you know how you can cut off your pee when you're peeing? Do that even when you're not peeing, and that'll strengthen the muscles there, and it'll stop you from having a quick finish. Tips from RTP. Get the brethren, my brothers. Practice pinching off that pee, and you'll be able to control your cum shots much better. Anyways, Kash Patel's a liar, and that's not shocking for anybody who isn't in the cult, but here's MS Now reporting on the lies that Kash Patel told, and it is so on brand for Kash Patel. Let me just say this. I don't really care that much about this lie. I don't think that this is like some big conspiracy. I don't even think it's that big of a deal. What it is, though, is further proof that Kash Patel is a little bitch with a Napoleon complex and an inability to execute his plans and get people around him to respect him. And so he has to lie and pretend like he's respected.
We've arrested 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world in 14 months. That's twice as many in the 4 years combined. That is what the men and women of the FBI are doing, well-resourced. Everyone should take a look at this. If people want to continue the baseless, fraudulent, false personal attacks at me, that's great. Keep the target on me, as I've always said, but the mission has never been better.
Keeping the target on Kash Patel reminds me from my favorite line in American Sniper of aim small, miss small. You don't have a lot of choices with Kash Patel. If you're going to keep the target on him, that is always going to be a very, very, very small target for Oompa Loompa Doompati Dum. But I guess that was a lie.
When it comes to the arrests Kash Patel boasted about yesterday, Patel's FBI has imposed new policies that inflate these numbers and overstate the FBI's progress in stemming crime. That is according to a half dozen law enforcement sources. Kash Patel's lack of transparency is even causing some from inside the FBI to speak out, with one current official telling MS Now this, quote, "They are absolutely..."
Kash's favorite bar is a low bar.
"absolutely padding the stats and claiming arrests they would not have claimed." Agents inside the Bureau complained frequently about Patel's bogus arrest numbers. Kash is definitely engineering.
A good point, Maverick. Aim small, miss small was also in the Patriot. That's true.
Things to pad his stats.
I've been hearing tips for some time that the statistics that Kash Patel sometimes mentioned, they said were juiced or inflated unfairly and intentionally. And while we were working on this, Kash Patel is brought before the Senate to answer questions. And instead of answering those blistering questions, he waves a black placard in the air and says, this is the proof that I'm really running this agency quite well. And this is the FBI under my leadership. We began sort of concretizing our work, re-corroborating, going back to sources. The FBI has begun counting arrests, particularly immigration agents' arrests, whenever FBI agents are present or simply, assisting. The most wanted list This is supposed to be the 10 people that are the most dangerous villains in the world and that we've been hunting for them for possibly years. What my colleague Ken Delaney and I found in reviewing those, based on good information from sources, was that 4 of the 8 people that Kash Patel says were arrested from that fugitive list, that most villainous group, 4 were added within a month of actually being captured. And one of them was arrested in an hour and 13 minutes after being put on the list.
I didn't know this. When they say that they're just adding people to the list like right before they get arrested and be like, hey, they're on the most wanted list. I don't know who the people are. Let's see who these people are, what their most wanted crimes were. Who were the 8 most wanted criminals caught by the FBI? I'll let this play.
Yes.
I don't know a single person still at the FBI or who has recently left it that has the slightest iota of respect for Kash Patel. He is widely viewed as a clown within the organization, but he's a clown with a flamethrower.
Has anybody ever heard a better explanation of who Kash Patel is? All right, here's these 8. Samuel Ramirez Jr. was allegedly involved in the murders of 2 women and attempted murder of a 3rd person in Federal Way, Washington. Kashawn Nicola Roper was allegedly fired into a car in Missouri. He was charged with 2nd-degree murder. Wait, hold on. He was charged with 2nd-degree murder, and he was on the top 10 FBI's most wanted? Sean Nicola Roper. How'd somebody 2nd-degree murder was top 10? All right. Ryan James Wedding, accused of running a transnational cocaine trafficking operation, orchestrating multiple murders tied to that drug enterprise. All right, that one makes sense. Francisco Javier Roman Bardales, accused of MS-13 activity, including racketeering, narcotics trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, weapons trafficking, and violent crimes against civilians. Okay. I don't know. Is that top 10? Racketeering? I don't know about that. Alejandro Rosales Castillo, charged with murdering Truckwan Sandy Lai Lee in North Carolina. Okay. Donald Eugene Fields, accused of child sex trafficking of a minor in Missouri. That sounds like something that this administration normally would cover up. But again, accused of sex trafficking of a minor. That's what Matt Gaetz did. Is it top 10? Great. Take that person down. Top 10? Most wanted? And then Arnaldo Jimenez, wanted for the murder of his wife, Estrella Carrera, the day after their wedding. Is that top 10? Michael James Pratt, FBI list for sex trafficking related crimes tied to the Girls Do Porn case, including coercion and exploitation of women. Oh, damn. I have a friend who got... somebody I dated. I haven't talked to her since we dated a long time ago. She wound up doing one of those videos, and it was a fucking nightmare for her. And they tried to get like all this stuff taken down. I think she wound up getting a settlement from them. Okay. Yeah. Clearly they're padding their stats. That's what this administration, I mean, is anybody surprised from this administration? They lie about everything. They constantly have to blow smoke up their own ass, which is hard to do. For those of you who are not terribly flexible, that's not easy to do, to blow smoke up your very own ass. It's tough to do, but this administration's great at it. IMFRCD said a president was impeached for lying about a blowjob. Yeah, we should remember that. Joy said, have you seen this? I haven't had time to research it, but with declining church attendance, I do not doubt they are willing to sell their members' data. Check this out. Joy, will you send that link to Jen on Discord? When you send it on Venmo, we can't click on the link. If you want to send that to Jen Dub1 on Discord, I can pull that up. But I think I might have seen that. Did it have something to do with like Ancestry.com too? I think it might have. All right. Did I miss any other ones? Just a reminder, guys, we're only going until 11 o'clock today. So we've got an hour and 20 minutes left. And I apologize for that, but I do need to go be a dad and support my daughter at school. So we'll be quick. This story out from Notice today won't be alarming. Cue every MAGA dipshit in the chat going, oh, Nancy Pelosi, because they'll never care what Donald Trump does. But we're going to report on it anyways. Trump has personally bought and sold millions of dollars worth of stock in technology companies and government contractors early this year, according to new government records. So this isn't anonymous sourcing. Here is their source. If we click on it here, you can go through this yourself. But this is just so we're clear that this is not anonymous. This isn't made up. This is stuff that really happened. You can go fact check this yourself. The link will be in our Discord, but it's notice.org, notus.org. The Trump administration directly regulates some of these companies, and many of these trades coincided with favorable regulatory decisions. Trump purchased $1 million to $5 million worth of Nvidia stock on February 10th, only a week before Nvidia announced a major computer processing power deal with AI and social media giant Meta. Trump previously purchased $500,000 to $1 million worth of Nvidia stock on January 6th, a week before the Commerce Department officially approved the sale of some Nvidia chips to China. And remember, this came on the backs of all of these tech companies bribing him. So they bribe him, then he buys stock, then he approves their deal, and their stock skyrockets. The Chinese AI market is a long-sought target for Nvidia, since the federal government controls the sale of advanced AI chips to countries designated as foreign adversaries like China. Let's see, was Nvidia on the plane? Did I show clips of Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang yesterday in China, pretending that he was there to represent the United States? Oh, we did? Oh. This could not be more obvious. Came on the backs. Get it together, Last Cranberry. Nvidia, the most valuable company in the world, sells and designs advanced semiconductors that are necessary for the development of artificial intelligence. It also is a major government contractor. The company has become popular investment among national politicians. This, according to Trump spokesperson, the president, his family, and organization itself don't play a role in the investments and don't receive notice of trading activity. For sure. For sure they don't. Trump's investment holdings are maintained exclusively through fully discretionary accounts independently managed by third-party financial institutions with sole and exclusive authority over all investment decisions. This is how our politicians fucking cheat. They're just like, hey, somebody else is going to control it. Okay. So Trump can't call them? He can't direct them? He can't have a go-between from his staff go meet with them? This is why you guys are told to hate AOC, Elizabeth Warren, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Bernie Sanders. This is why you're told to hate them, because they want to stop this. So they just are like, oh, those commies over there that want a less corrupt government. And you're like, oh, commie is bad. Corrupt government, I can deal with that as long as it's not commie. None of them are communists. President Trump only acts in the best interest of the American public, which is why they overwhelmingly reelected him to this office. Good Lord. This must be like when you go into training to work for the Trump administration, it has to be this. Anytime Trump does something illegal, just say that the American people elected him overwhelmingly, so he gets to do it. Despite years of lies and false accusations against him, spokesperson David Engel said, Trump's assets are in a trust managed by his children. There are no conflicts of interest. Except for his fucking children were there too in China. He took his goddamn children to China too. I'm old enough to remember the Joe Biden era when they tried to impeach Joe Biden for including his son on the plane when they went, I think it was to Ukraine. It might have been to China, but I think it was to Ukraine. And his son like flew on the plane and they're like, that's impeachable. Trump's kid is over there negotiating deals with Chinese manufacturers they're supposed to be our enemy. They're supposed to be under sanction. Or tariffs. And for some reason, Trump's kid can just go over there and negotiate deals with them. Meanwhile, Trump does nothing for us. But yeah, for sure, Hunter Biden was the problem. There it is. Thank you, Dustin Sherman. Appreciate it. You're the 85th person to bring up Nancy Pelosi, who is retired, and you spelled it incorrectly. So well done. This is what you guys do. We don't pay attention to when Donald Trump is corrupt. We just talk about Democrats. Investigative news organization Sludge first reported Trump's disclosures, which he filed May 14th with the Office of Government Ethics. The disclosure indicates Trump made more than 3,600 individual stock and other financial trades during the first 3 months of 2026. That's a lot of fucking trades. It represents a shift in Trump's personal investment strategy, as he had largely avoided stocks and invested in corporate and municipal bonds during the first year of his second presidential term. AMD, another AI semiconductor company who was also authorized by the Department of Commerce to sell their chips to Chinese customers on January 13th, Trump purchased $50,000 and $100,000 worth of AMD stock on January 6th. Just 7 days before. In all, Trump bought at least $740,000 in AMD stock just last quarter. ICR truly are a Trump hater. Goddamn right. Donald Trump is a fucking dipshit. Anybody who still supports him is a fucking dipshit with an IQ below room temperature. He's a crook. He's a criminal. He's a piece of shit. If you don't hate Donald Trump, your brain doesn't function properly. Well, the Trump administration spent billions of dollars on immigration enforcement and mass deportation efforts. Trump also invested in companies that contracted with immigration enforcement agencies. Chief among them, Palantir Technologies. Trump bought at least $260,000 worth of Palantir stock during the first 3 months of 2026. In January alone, Trump bought $65,000 to $150,000 of Palantir stock. In February, Trump sold between 1.1 million and 5.3 million of his Palantir stock. Then in March, Trump's Palantir stock purchases totaled between $200,000 and $500,000 fucking dollars. In February, Palantir struck a $1 billion agreement with the Department of Homeland Security to use the company's software in the president's deportation surge. Palantir has also February. Oh, weird. And then he sold it after it surged. Oh, weird. For sure, this isn't a problem. And I appreciate you saying that, Maverick, and it's louder. Because for anybody who's here for the first time and watching me shit on Donald Trump, just know that every example you could give me of a Democrat who does anything like this, we will also disavow them. That's why we don't fuck with the Democrats. That's why over here, we like the progressive wing of the Democrat Party, because they're the only ones who are doing something for you and me. They're the only ones trying to end corruption. And all it takes for you to not recognize the people who are fighting for you is for a dipshit like Donald Trump to label them a communist. And they're like, okay, I'm on team corruption. I appreciate you saying that. It must be new if they are now noticing RTP and the majority of the people in the comments hate Trump. Yeah, brand new. Yeah, I don't understand. For the life of me, I don't think any of you actually like Trump. I think that you have just like bought into this. And I think that right now is probably a very confusing time as a Trump supporter, because you can't point to anything he's doing well. And that's why the constant deflection. And I wish that those of you who do that every day would grow the fuck up. Just be adults. That's the problem that we have in this country, is there's not enough fucking adults. And a lot of you have opinions and you don't know anything. So shut the fuck up and listen and learn something and then speak and have a conversation. But the biggest problem we have in America is that we think we are fucking great just by virtue of being American. And we think that we are informed by virtue of having opinions and bumper sticker slogan opinions. And I'm tired of that. I think all of us are tired of that. Are you not tired of this shit? Donald Trump's a criminal. He's doing insider trading. He's obviously corrupt. If you're unwilling to criticize Donald Trump, then you're just not a serious person. You're not serious about like trying to make this a better country for your children and for yourself. You're just playing team politics, and that's kind of pathetic as an adult. On February 10th, Trump also purchased $1 million to $5 million in shares in Axon, the company that makes tasers. Trump bought more Axon stock valued between $15,000 and $50,000 on March 2nd, and also made a pair of sales worth $1,000 to $15,000 around the same time. ICE outlined its plan to spend $220 million on tasers over 5 years on February 24th. February 10th, buys between 1 million and 5 million shares in Axon. And it's kind of crazy how this happens. Then February 24th, they decide, we're going to spend $220 million on tasers. Shock. I bet that did make the stock go up. Notice first reported. The agency stated it wanted to purchase about 17,800 new tasers in what would be a major boon for Axon. I spent $2.2 million in January on body cameras from the Arizona-based company. Trump also spent millions of dollars on shares of other government contractors, including Microsoft, Boeing, Amazon, Alphabet, the parent company of Google. Trump is on the record yesterday, and I'll show you, bragging about how he got a special deal for Boeing while he's holding Boeing stock. And we can't get you to care? For real? Like, we can't get you to care about this at all? He went to China, who's supposed to be our enemy. He rode President Xi's dick and then helped all of his rich friends make deals with China, because we can't do what China's doing because they're so far ahead of us that they're struggling and they're like, we need China or we're fucked. And he's like, don't worry, I'll take you all over there and I'll pretend that this is about the American people. It's never about the American people. It's never about you. It's about him and his rich friends. And it's time for you guys to wake up to that. I don't have any faith that you'll do that. However, if you want access to that article and any links we put up today, that is all available in our Discord, which you can join for free. Message JenDub1 on Discord, JenNDUBB1 on Discord, and she will get you an invitation into the Discord. If you are there to troll in the Discord, just know if you get in the Discord and start trolling, that is a place where we have built a community. It is not necessarily a debate space, so if you're looking to go in there and troll people, that's not the spot for it. We try and keep it a place where people want to hang out and can even escape politics. There's all sorts of other stuff there. People play games. People share beauty tips. We watch movies in there from time to time, but that's free to join. If you're looking for an online community, we got you covered. All right. Let's go here. This was cool. Raise your hand if you hate Andy Ogles. Andy Ogles is a very corrupt politician from Tennessee. Every time we turn around, he's being caught breaking the law. And what he does every time he gets caught in some sort of quagmire, he rolls out some sort of legislation that licks Donald Trump's balls. And here he is talking about the weaponized and wiretapped victims of government overreach. Andy Ogles is one of the few people we know of that had his cell phone seized. The FBI had an open investigation into him. They seized his cell phone, and while that investigation was active, the Trump administration basically said, "Yeah, fuck that, bury it, and give him you have to delete anything that you got." They literally took the record of any investigation of Andy Ogles and they deleted all the evidence and gave him his phone back. So we will never know what they were investigating because Trump killed that, which is cool. But here is, if you guys know Phil Williams, many of you know who Phil Williams is, one of the all-time great investigative journalists in this country. He's investigating now Andy Ogles for stealing from needy people.
Is the weaponization of the Justice Department by the Biden administration.
Tennessee comes.
Yeah, party of law and order. That's exactly right. Amy said, to be fair, China says Trump is lying about the deals. Well, of course he is.
When Andy Ogles was joined by fellow Republicans for a news conference headlined Weaponized and Wiretapped, where he tried to cast himself as a victim of the Biden Justice Department. This follows the Trump administration's recent decision to return or destroy evidence that the FBI has seized from the MAGA congressman in the fall of 2024. But we also got a brand new story about the thousands of dollars that Andy Ogles collected from the public for a children's burial garden, a burial garden that our investigation discovered was never built.
Dustin, I literally showed you the evidence of what I said Trump bought. You can see the link one more time. Sorry, I hate to break this down, but I don't like that. It's right here. You can look at this, even look at the website. Like, these are the documents. You go to the article and you can look through all of his purchases. You can fact check it yourself. We fact checked it. He did it. Don't dismiss things because you want to suck Donald Trump's dick.
Congressman, this doesn't have to be a story if you can just offer some evidence it went for a good cause. We had tried to get answers 3 years ago about how Ogles had used the photo of a stillborn baby in 2014 for a GoFundMe to raise money to create a children's burial garden that would be called Lincoln's Place. He collected nearly $25,000. But at this news conference, the congressman seemed to deny that the public had given anything.
When it comes to the burial ground, 52% of the money in that fund came from myself and my wife. The rest of it came from my family.
Of course, we've talked to people who say they personally contributed to that fund and they were not part of Congressman Ogles' family. After our first investigation, Ogles' office put out a news release in which he said the money was used for, quote, direct financial support for families covering the cost of funeral expenses and other needs for their children.
Where's this? How come you Republicans that were asking for proof? Where's Andy Ogles' proof? Don't you think Andy Ogles should have to prove or show documentation of how this $25,000 was spent? We've canceled our own people of this. We've canceled other content creators for doing this exact thing. So I don't want to hear shit from you guys about us not holding people accountable. This show specifically has got, like, I've put myself in jeopardy going after people who do this. So I just wonder why it is that you're so quick to defend this type of stuff. Andy Ogles is a scumbag piece of shit. And the amount of corruption that happens in this administration just attracts scumbag pieces of shit. Yeah, that's right, Ivory. It was a community garden with boots on the ground for sure.
And now
we ultimately use that money instead of burial grounds to help primarily children with cancer.
Whether it's burial expenses or children with cancer, Congressman Ogles has not provided any documentation to show what he actually did with that money. And what about the FBI investigation that resulted in his cell phone and email being seized?
Because if they can willfully violate the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment and come after a member of Congress, then they can come after anyone.
This is the dumbest thing that any of them ever say. If they can come after us, they can come after anyone. Well, they do go after everybody. They already can do that. What you're admitting there is that you play by different rules. Now you're saying, holy shit, it's affecting us too? Guys, I know they can wiretap you all day long. They can seize your cell phones. They can read your messages. But aren't you more afraid that they can also do it to me now? No, I fucking love that. I fucking love it. Regardless of who the politician is, you will never see me being upset that the federal government seized a politician's phone. Fucking do it. If you're gonna overreach, if you're gonna violate rights all the time, could we at least do it to the people who are fucking us over? Like, I don't care that Tim down the street was saying awful things on Facebook. I care far more that our members of Congress are stealing from us all the fucking time. It's such a dumb argument. Nobody should be allowed to say that anymore without immediate pushback. They can do anything they want to us. They can't do anything to members of Congress generally. And when they do, they're like, this isn't fair. Can you believe it? If they could do it to me, they could do it to you. Yeah, no shit. We already know that. We already know they can do it to us. I'm on a fucking list. I'm on multiple lists. I'm listed like I'm a national security risk according to TikTok. Anybody who speaks out about this administration, they'll come after you at any chance they get. Look what they're doing to Hassan Piker. What they do consistently. Yeah, it's a dumb argument.
There is zero evidence that the Biden DOJ violated the Fourth Amendment, which says law enforcement must have a warrant signed by a judge based on probable cause that a crime has been committed. In this case,
that started under Obama, and you know it. No, it didn't start under Obama. It took place under Obama. I think Trump voters are unaware that the country didn't start with Obama. We have been doing this for fucking ever. I dated somebody who was from, if you know the name Jack Anderson, if anybody's from DC, you probably know the name Jack Anderson. He was a very famous investigative journalist, not quite as famous as Woodward and Bernstein, but he was they were at Washington Post. He, I think, was at the Examiner or Washington Times or something like that. He was covering Watergate at the same time they were. And I was talking to her dad, this was years ago, when I was still a Republican, and he was telling me like that growing up because his father was an investigative journalist, they would consistently be driving, and then his dad would just hit the gas, and they would have to lose tails all the time. Their phone, they weren't allowed, like they were careful about what they said on the phone because they knew their phones were tapped. This is in the 70s. Then we had as technology advances, the CIA and the FBI, they've been doing this forever. And then we have from the Bush administration, we get the Patriot Act, and then it's just every administration since then has done nothing really to curtail the government's ability to do everything or to look at everything that we do. Yes, Obama it happened during the Obama administration. Yes, it happened during the Trump administration. Yes, it happened during the Biden administration. Yes, it happened during the Bush administration. This is what our government does. Stop playing politics with this. This is so stupid. Stop trying to blame they've been doing it since Obama. Yeah, you don't want to listen to this. You don't want to hear what anybody has to say. You don't want to address corruption. You just want to be like, oh, it's actually Obama's fault. The government can, and if you recognize, like I said, any politician that they take their cell phone, I don't care what party they're a member of. This is what our government does, and you trying to play party politics here is stupid. Just address it. Is Andy Ogles obviously stealing? Yes. Is he obviously corrupt? Yes. Don't defend him just because you voted for Trump.
FBI actually had 2 search warrants signed by a judge, one for Ogle's phone, the other for his email. Then there's the congressman's claim that the Biden DOJ was looking for his communications with President Trump and other top Republicans.
Because our Constitution creates a wall of separation, the speech and debate clause. And the Biden administration was willing to intentionally violate that clause to punish its adversaries.
In fact, filings in federal court show the government.
How am I playing party politics, Jeff? Explain that. What am I advocating for Democrats?
Had agreed that the FBI would not look at material about legislative business. They actually agreed they would not look at anything until a judge came up with a plan to separate any material that might be protected. And the congressman who our investigation also found had fabricated much of his resume, that he had falsely claimed to have loaned his campaign $320,000, and that he had reported campaign funds going to mysterious companies with bogus addresses, explained why he feels no need to answer such questions.
What they find doesn't matter because the story's already written. The truth doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what an innocent person says. Ignore the results of this. It doesn't matter because they've already decided. This is if you can't see through shit like this, be very, very weary, just in life in general. Be very weary of somebody who consistently says that everybody is against them.
So, questions?
Phil Williams, News Channel 5 Investigates.
I'm with you, Fender. Look at all these MAGA losers speaking in Trump catchphrases. It is pathetic. It's like you show corruption, and they're like, Trump won, Kamala lost, Dems bad. Did you guys see? I don't have the clip. Did you see Trump say that he made up the term Democrats yesterday, or on that Hannity interview? I made this up. I've started calling them Democrats, and he literally said he made that up. Like we haven't been hearing that as long as we've been doing this show. Here's the video earlier that Joy said, I've had a hard time reaching for declining church attendance. I do not doubt they are willing to sell their members' data. I'm guessing this is about Mormonism.
So today I found out.
Let's see here real quick.
That the church that I go to signed a deal with the nation of Israel, along with thousands of other churches in the U.S., to allow geofencing to track its congregation's user data and target propaganda. That's weird. So today I found out that the church that I
don't know if that's true or not. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for showing me that. Obama bowed to China. Obama bowed. Who cares? Nobody fucking cares that Obama bowed. That's a sign of respect. Who cares? You guys care about the dumbest fucking shit. We were talking about this earlier, but let's talk about, here's Jen Psaki. Conservatives, you can do the MS Now thing. You can do the Jen Psaki thing right now, but again, you were the ones that were upset about Hunter Biden being on a plane with Joe Biden, so I would expect you to be upset about this. Apparently, you're not going to be.
Guess where Trump's adult son Eric is right now? Well, he's with his father in China. Now, Eric Trump does not have a role in the U.S. government. In fact, he's supposed to be sort of firewalled off from any U.S. government activities because he took over the family businesses when his father re-entered the White House, supposedly to prevent conflicts of interest. But there he is. You can see him. Now, I should say that when asked about Eric Trump joining the trip, the White House simply said that there were no conflicts of interest there. I guess thanks for that. A spokesperson for Eric himself said that
their ability to just lie with a straight face is crazy. They don't even like try and spin a story. They're like, he's there doing a business deal and he's not part of the administration. There's no conflict of interest. Wait, what do you mean? That you just explained a conflict of interest. The president's son is on the president's plane flying to China to do a business deal in which the president will benefit from financially. And that's the definition of a conflict of interest. You can't just say it's not a conflict of interest. Like, you just walk outside and it's raining. Like, it's not raining. But we should have known, because that's literally what happened when Trump took office. Day one, Trump took office, and he was like, I was speaking, and it was raining, and as soon as I started speaking, the clouds parted, and the sun came out. And you can watch the clip, and it's just raining while he's speaking. It's like that. The sun doesn't even come out. And he just said that. Like, day one, he literally said, it's not raining. Ignore your eyes. And also, there's more people here than at the Obama inauguration, which was also a lie. That's how he started everything. Day one. And day two, he's got members of his administration going out going, we actually just have alternate facts, meaning we just make shit up. Phil Mack said, name the business deal. Great news. They're going to.
Was just joining the president in his own personal capacity, saying that Eric will not participate in any discussions or meetings related to any business entity, and that Eric Trump does not have business ventures in China or plans on doing business with China.
Okay. That's what they said. He doesn't have business ventures or plans to do business in China. All right, you with me, Phil Mack? I know. Have a little patience, bud. I just want to make sure that what they said that you heard. He has no business ventures in China. He's not making any deals, right?
Now, that is quite an interesting denial, given this piece in the Financial Times out just today.
You think that people conflate America first with America only isolationist position to do two different contexts. Yes, those are two different things. I don't think America first means America only. I think America first means you do what's best for American citizens first, in the general public. When Donald Trump says America first, he means American corporations first. Rich friends that he can make money off of first.
This piece in the Financial Times out just today. And here's the headline. Eric Trump joins Beijing trip as family-linked group chases China deal.
Oh.
You see, Eric is on the board of a company called Alt 5 Sigma. And you can see him and Don Jr. here ringing the opening bell at the NASDAQ with the name of that company and the name of the Trump family.
RTP talks like a woman. Oh, I'd sound like, do I talk like somebody who would never fuck you? I'm sorry about that.
Crypto company right behind them. Well, today, while Eric is in China with his dad, the Financial Times is reporting that this company has a memorandum of understanding to explore a potential deal with a Chinese computer chip manufacturer to build AI data centers and a whole bunch of other AI-related stuff.
Oh, shit. What's that? All right, we got that now? Who was it that was asking questions about that? Sorry, I forgot your name. I'm bad with names. Felmac. We got that now? Alt 5 Sigma? Linked through World Liberty Financial? We good on that?
Oh, and guess what else? That Chinese firm they have that memorandum of understanding with, well, Congress has warned that that company is connected to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, neither the Chinese chip manufacturer or Alt 5.
For the record, I could give a fuck if any of these companies are connected to the Chinese Communist Party. I could give a single solitary fuck. I don't care about any of that. I have no problem with the Chinese Communist Party owning parts of business in China, and I have no problem with American businesses working with them. I don't care. I'm not afraid of China. I don't know why everybody is afraid of China. The one through line that Donald Trump and I seem to agree on after coming back from China is they're not really doing shit to us. They're not actually really our enemy. They're our competitor. And Donald Trump and I have virtually the same opinion on China. Like, we spy on them, they spy on us, but there's a lot of shit that they do really well, and like, our economies are linked. And if we try and cut China out of our economy is fucked. I'll show you the clips of Donald Trump saying this here in a minute, but this is one of those days. Everybody's like, do you ever agree with Trump? Yeah, today I agree with Trump that it would be economic suicide to decouple from China. It makes no fucking sense. The smartest thing we could possibly do is actually kind of what Trump is doing, going over there and being nice to them, going over there and saying how great they're doing and how great their companies are. That's the best thing that we should do. It's called fucking diplomacy, but it's just, it fucks with MAGA because on the campaign trail and on Fox News and on even CNN, MS Now, even now, like the Chinese Communist Party, they're trying to scare you about China by using the word communist. And ironically, me and Trump are on the same side here. And it'll be interesting when we play these clips and I'm agreeing with Trump to see how some of you MAGA folks respond to that, because you're supposed to hate China. And he told you to hate China. And he's like, I'm going to get China. And then he goes over there and he's like, where do I put your dicks? Is it directly in my mouth? Is it multiple dicks at once? And I think that was smart. Go over and be diplomatic. Stop escalating tensions all the time. It's very clear China doesn't want to go to war with us. It's very clear China doesn't want to go to war with anybody. And that's not to say China is like, that's not to say that Xi is good. I hate their position on Taiwan. That's where me and Trump are going to disagree. But diplomacy, I'm a fan of. I don't have a problem with globalization. I like that we have global markets. And diplomacy and negotiation is what will help us have more fair trade. Taking a bunch of billionaires over there to line their pockets, though, isn't great.
Responded to the Financial Times request for comment. But it certainly seems...
Blue Chew said, I don't know what that means. That's something I believe in Chinese. Right.
Seems like Eric might be getting a little more than just quality time with his dad out of this China trip, doesn't it? I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of the sketchy ways that Trump's sons are making money while their dad is president. Just last month, Eric was on Fox Business bragging out loud about how one of his companies scored a $24 million contract with the Pentagon. Last year, a company partially owned by Trump's other adult son, Don Jr., landed a nearly $5 million contract with the U.S. Air Force. And both of Trump's sons are now part owners in a new drone company that is hoping to win major Pentagon contracts. Now, I should say that all of those companies deny there's any conflict of interest, as do Don and Eric. But wouldn't it be great if someone, say the IRS, were to check, given how clear the potential conflicts of interest are? You would think that Trump and his sons would deserve more financial scrutiny, not less. But nope.
Hold on, I didn't say I appreciate Trump. I said I agree with what he's doing. And I think that that's the right move, is diplomacy with China. I disagree with what he's doing, but that's what presidents should do. Presidents should try and have good relationships with China. I didn't like what Biden did. I don't think Biden does a good job with our enemies. I think he was old school. He's like, we have to act tough. We have to show them who's boss. We have to put our foot down. I thought that was a dumb way to handle those types of foreign relationships. I think he probably could have done a better job with Putin too. All right. So anyways, obviously there's a conflict of interest there. Just a reminder, guys, we only have about 45 minutes left. I do have a hard cut off. Sorry. Blue Chew's writing there in English is translated to presented by the Communist Party of China. Thank you. Anyway, I was telling you, I only have 45 minutes more to go today. I got to go to a program at my daughter's school. So we do rely on your generosity with our gift goal every single day in order to keep the lights on here. I know we're asking a lot to knock that gift goal out with an hour and a half less content today. But if you want to help us knock that out, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's get to that China trip, and let's start with Donald Trump's cope. President Xi referred to the United States as being a declining nation. I don't know that he said perhaps, but that's just true. Like, we are a declining nation. Wealth inequality is skyrocketing. The middle class is dying. There's not really, like, industry-wise, I don't know what we're the leader in. We're not the leader in AI. We're the leader in oil. That's about it. And oil is something that everybody is trying to get away from. China is investing heavily in trying to get away from oil. But Trump went into full cope mode here and said, when President Xi very elegantly referred to the United States as perhaps being a declining nation, elegantly, I like that, he was referring to the tremendous damage we suffered during the 4 years of sleepy Joe Biden and the Biden administration. And on that score, he was 100% correct. He didn't say any of that. This is all cope. Our country suffered immeasurably with open borders, high taxes. The taxes didn't change. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about here. We kept Donald Trump's tax policy in place during the Biden years. We did not have high taxes. Our taxes were too low during those years. We also didn't have open borders. Transgender for everybody. I checked. I'm still not transgender. Raise your hand if you have been forced to become transgender. Men in women's sports. DEI, horrible trade deals, rampant crime, and so much more. Crime was at like all-time lows. The trade deals were great. DEI didn't hurt any of you fragile white folks. It was just a way to make sure that we couldn't discriminate. Men and women's sports, that didn't happen. That's not a real thing. None of that's real, and that's obviously not what Xi was talking about. President Xi was not referring to the incredible rise that the United States has displayed to the world during the 16 spectacular months of the Trump administration, which includes all-time high stock markets, which is every president has had, all-time high 401ks, which every president has had, military victory, which we have not had, and thriving relationship in Venezuela by stealing their leader. We cucked Venezuela. The military decimation of Iran, to be continued. It's not decimated. Strongest military on earth by far, probably. Economic powerhouse again. When did we stop being an economic powerhouse? Could you guys point to the year when we weren't an economic powerhouse with a record of $18 trillion being invested in the United States by others? That is a lie. That number cannot be confirmed. That's just a number Trump keeps saying. Best U.S. job market in history. Unemployment is going up, so I don't know what we're talking about. With more people working in the United States right now than ever before. Again, every president has that on their resume. Ending country destroying DEI. That's silly. Did not. And by the way, all these companies love DEI, and so they just rebranded. I have friends at Facebook, Google, Apple. They all still have DEI. They just call it something else. 2008. Well, even 2008, we were an economic powerhouse still because we crashed the entire world's economy. So we were still an economic powerhouse in 2008. It's like now, like we're crashing the world's economy right now, but we're getting the best of it. Like of every other country that's getting fucked right now, we're getting fucked a little bit less. So generally, when we struggle, the rest of the world struggles too. In fact, President Xi congratulated me on so many tremendous successes in such a short period of time. All right, that's just full cope from Donald Trump because he didn't have the guts to say that in front of Xi. He had to go on his I think it's the now 67th most popular social media app in the App Store. A really great place called True Social that bleeds money each and every year, and it's just a place for Donald Trump to ramble incoherently. But it was good to see that cope. I'm going to bounce back and forth between a few interviews. Donald Trump at some point is going to be on Air Force One talking to reporters. At some point, he's going to be in the sit-down interview with Fox News. Fox was all over China. There's a video of Brett Baer like walking in the middle of the street with cars going around him. It was kind of bizarre. But I want to highlight some things from the China trip. This first, Trump bragging about, remember the report that he invested in Boeing, and then he says like, I'm not doing anything special for Boeing. Well, this doesn't sound like that. Just a number said, have a great time at your daughter's show. They grow up so fast. My youngest child graduates high school next week, and tonight is prom. I'm not ready for that. I hope you're doing okay. I'm not ready for that. Maverick said, Xi using, I don't even know how to say that. Is it Thucydides example refers to China's rise? I don't know if that's the right way to say that. I think it's Thucydides. Admittedly, I was unfamiliar with that reference until yesterday. Anyways, here's Trump on doing special favors for Boeing.
What does he want from the U.S.?
A lot of things. We talked about a lot of things. Too many things to discuss, but a lot of things. We had a very good meeting, but we want things from them. One thing he agreed to today is going to order 200 jets. That's a big thing, Boeing.
Oh, that's a big thing. How many of you are going to make money off of that? None of you. I know some people who will because Boeing is just right down the street. My best friend in Arizona works for Boeing. So I know some people who will do okay. His stock will go up. That's what he got for you guys. Boeing sold some more planes. And then listen to what he says about Boeing selling 200 planes.
It's a big thing, Boeing. 200 big ones. That's a lot of jobs. It's a lot.
It is? A lot of jobs? 200 planes is a lot of jobs? I doubt it. Boeing just laid off a bunch of people too. Why is the president talking about private business deals and bragging that he got this business deal done? And he is invested in Boeing. By the way, China is not confirming any of this. This is Donald Trump manipulating the stock price. Let's look at Boeing stock today. See what it did. Oh, damn. Or I guess this was yesterday, huh? Is nobody buying this? It's tanking. You can't even save it. What is going on? Oh no, is he losing his power? It dropped 4%? Good. Yeah, it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Boeing wanted 150, he got 200. He said, I think it was a commitment. I mean, sort of like a statement, but I think it was a commitment.
It was a statement, but it was a commitment. He said, it's wary. Oh, did I say worry at some point? It's pronounced wary. I think I said wary, didn't I? I don't think I've ever said worry. Lindsay, thank you for the $5. Appreciate that.
The markets love it. The Dow topped 50,000.
No, that doesn't take that theory out. That just means Trump doesn't have that power. It's not this theory is still the same. Trump should not be talking about a potential deal like that. What did I make up, Pete? Guys, Pete's very upset. Pete, what's the lie that I told so far today? All right. Then we'll wait for that while I get to the next clip. Then let's go here. This is again, this is one of those places I kind of agree with Trump. I don't think we should be so adversarial towards China. Here he is, but this is so different than anything that you guys have talked about. He just gave a stock tip. Yeah. It's a bad stock tip. But he's trying to influence a stock. He shouldn't be saying that. Anyways, here's just the reality. Now, we are told by members of Congress and our politicians, and honestly, I applaud Trump for saying this. I hate to do it, but we do all the things that we accuse China of doing. The big difference between us and China is that we both cheat, but China, when they cheat, their citizens benefit. When we cheat, a couple of billionaires benefit. We don't actually usually benefit from that. It kind of fucks us. But when China cheats and they grow their economy, it helps everybody. It doesn't help all of us when we cheat. We just cheat and then give that to Boeing or Halliburton or Palantir or Nvidia or OpenAI or whoever it might be.
Let me go to the issue of trade, tariffs, intellectual property theft. I'm sure, especially with all those big business people you brought in, those are big. Any progress you can report?
Yeah, I mean, it is progress.
Oh, that's what the lie is. That the Boeing expected 500 and that they did 200. So Trump said it was 150 and he bumped it to 200. The expected number was 500. Oh, okay. Dope.
But I also tell people that, I was in an interview with a very bad, stupid reporter. She works for CBS. You saw their 60 Minutes. Stupid.
Yeah. Does Trump think China is going to hire American pilots and stewards? Maybe.
Person, just an average person. You could take anybody off the street, and
I'm with you, Tyrone.
She is, just very average. And she asked me a question.
Yeah.
She's talked about China and this and that they steal this and they steal that. And I said, yeah, we do it to them too.
Oh, I said be weary instead of be wary. Okay, thank you. I was thinking worry. Gotcha. Thank you, wasn't me.
They spy on us. I said, we spy on them too, I guess, So some people thought that was cute. Other people said, you don't have to say that. I said, I sort of do. No, we do things and they do things. And that's the
China's now going to buy American oil. I don't care. That doesn't help us at all. You guys have to start figuring out how to sort through shit that matters and shit that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter a goddamn bit that China is going to buy American oil. It doesn't help you one fucking bit. In fact, it probably raises your oil prices because that increases demand. You have to stop looking at everything like, oh, if China buys from us, we win. No, you lose. Who wins? Oil companies. Who loses? You. You lose. That's not a win for you.
It is. Now, with that being said, I spoke to him very strongly about that, and I'd like to see it taken care of. But they've been doing that for 50 years.
Will we see a change? In other words, will there be an improvement with trade?
Thanks, Burned Out Medic.
Coming into the country for two reasons. The border's strong, but it's also down because they're sending less. We taxed them. I gave them a 20% tariff. And
that's a motherfucking lie. We taxed them. You can't tax them. I gave them a 20% tariff. No, you gave Americans a 20% tax on anything they buy from China, and China paid 0% of that. China doesn't pay tariffs. Other countries don't pay tariffs. This is a crazy fucking lie that this dumb dude is allowed to tell all the time. No pushback from Sean Hannity because Sean Hannity is a lapdog for this administration. It's pathetic. It's insulting to my intelligence. It should be insulting to all of your intelligence that Sean Hannity and the American media refuses every time this dumb motherfucker says that. They don't go, hold on. Tariffs are paid by Americans, not other countries. You can't tax other countries, but they're all such pussies, because if they do it, Trump's like, I'll never do an interview with you again. So you just have to let him sit there and lie. And any of you who still support this man, and it doesn't upset you that he lies to your face, I don't know who your wife is fucking, but it's somebody.
Tariff, and because of fentanyl, it was like a penalty. Nobody ever did that. You didn't know that probably. I gave them a 20% tariff because they're sending fentanyl. It's a huge amount of money.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of money paid by Americans, and you're having to pay a lot of that back now. Cool. Those billions of dollars we brought in tariff revenue, you're having to give billions of that back. That's so awesome. Why do you let this guy lie to you like that? You shouldn't do that. You should be better than that. All right. Here's what I was talking about, though. And here's the difference between Donald Trump. And we try to tell you this all the time. Donald Trump on the campaign trail versus Donald Trump, the president, are two different people. Everything he campaigned on, he's doing the opposite of. And somehow MAGA hasn't figured this out. But here is Donald Trump talking about specifically, and I think he was in Iowa here. This looks like a John Deere, so he's either in Illinois or Iowa. And here was him on the campaign trail talking about how we're going to save American farmers, who have been decimated, by the way. And because he didn't ever have a real plan to help American farmers, he did what Donald Trump always does, xenophobia. And he gets you to blame some other group of people that you don't like already. In this case, the Chinese. Phoenix said, Trump, after meeting with Darth Sidious, he's a great man, strong, keeping the galaxy strong, stopping those evil rebels, huge amount of ships built. That's pretty good. I like that. It wasn't me said I poke because I care. That's what he said. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Correct my language. It reminds me of my mom. The question is, how do you protect critical infrastructure in farming? Can't hear it very well.
Well, we're going to protect it by saying you can't come. You can't do it. We don't want you buying our land. We don't want you taking the land and basically taking it off the market. And we don't want you doing it. And they're buying at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We don't want you buying. It's very easy to do. That's a very easy thing to do. But it's causing a lot of disruption, and that's what they want to do. So we can do that very easily. Question?
Beijing.
Okay. I mean, that's right. We're not going to let China buy up farmland. Pretty simple stuff there, right? And then here he is yesterday.
The issue of Chinese students in our universities, more importantly in my mind, is that Chinese nationals have been buying up thousands and thousands of acres of farmland, ranch land, and land near military installations. Now, I would assume I'm in Beijing. If I wanted to buy property near one of their military installations, I don't think President Xi...
No, they wouldn't let you. I don't... Look, it's not that I love it. You want to see farm prices drop? You want to see farmers lose a lot of money? Just take that out of the market. But they've had a lot of land for a long time. Obama did nothing about it.
What did Trump do about it?
During the Obama administration.
It's a weird thing to say. He's like, I'm not going to do anything about this. Obama did nothing about this. We have to have China buying up our farmland or we won't survive. But somehow it's Obama's fault.
He did nothing about it. As far as the students, it's 500,000 students they come, good students. I could tell them, I don't want any students. It's a very insulting thing to say to a country. They would then immediately go out and start building universities all over China. But if you don't have those students, good students, by the way, if you don't, and we do another thing, you know, if they're good and they want to stay in America, we won't give them a green card and things like that. You know, and that not only them, but other countries. But if you want to see a university system die, take 500,000 people out of it. And you know, the ones that won't be hurt are the top schools. The top schools will do fine, but your lower schools, the ones that don't do quite as well, they'll be dying all over the place. I frankly think that it's good that people come from other countries and they learn our culture, and many of them want to stay here. I think it's good.
All right, I do want to show you this, though, because what he says is that foreign-owned U.S. agricultural land was massive under Obama. it did increase under Obama. It wasn't. There was a big jump there, but this is Trump. Obama went up 1.8%. Trump went up 2.93%. So it's interesting how he does this and how he's able to keep you guys just focused on Democrats. So he points to a problem. It's true that under the Obama administration, we saw more purchases from foreign countries buying up AG land, but it went up substantially during the Trump administration. Why doesn't he bring that up? And what's he doing about it? What's he saying he's going to do about it right here? He says, I'm going to do nothing, and that's fine. But
protected by saying you can't come. You can't do it. We don't want you buying our land. We don't want you taking the land and basically taking it off the market. And we don't want you doing it. And they're buying at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We don't want you buying. It's very easy to do. That's a very easy thing to do. But it's causing a lot of disruption, and that's what they want to do. So we can.
What do we do? What do we do with you guys? How do we take you seriously? Why don't you take yourselves more seriously? Why don't you just, I don't know why you're afraid to criticize this guy. I appreciate, we're working on it. Maverick's getting there. Appreciate that. Starting to learn a thing or two. Starting to realize this isn't just political. It's legitimately that Donald Trump is a horrific fucking president. He has no goddamn clue what he's doing. And he lies to you all the time. Wasn't me said, I wonder, how does Hannity gargle Listerine after? No chance. Hannity, when he's done glucking Donald Trump, says, I'm never going to brush my teeth again. I want to taste this forever. He wants to buy up all the failing farms. Look at the Netflix. Yeah. Or George Soros' protege, Scott Bessent, who's doing that too. And then they are like, I'm actually a farmer too. All right. Now here we are. Trump. Is this, let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah. I want to move into him talking about Iran now. China basically didn't offer anything when it comes to Iran. It doesn't look like they're going to step in. Trump claims that China says they're not going to sell any weapons to Iran. Nothing's written down, so who cares? Dana said, what do you give a dog with a fever? Mustard. It's the best thing for a hot dog. Not ashamed in the least. That's so good. I love that. And we got about 25 minutes left before the end of the live, and then I got to get out of here to go see my daughter's program. If you guys want to help us try and knock out that gift goal, that would be appreciated. I know we're short on time today, so we're asking a lot of you. But if you can help knock out our daily gift goal, that would be terrific. Here's Trump now talking about Iran and giving us a new reason. I was under the impression initially that we attacked Iran to decimate their nuclear facilities. And then they said we did. And then we went in there the next time and it was like, oh, we're going to do regime change. It was like, oh, okay, we're doing regime change. And then they're like, no, it's to get the nuclear weapons. I was like, wait, I already thought we got the nuclear weapons. And now recently, Marco Rubio, as early as yesterday, was saying, well, what we're actually doing is we're trying to open the Strait of Hormuz. So it's very incoherent, but I don't know where his handlers were. I don't know if he's got enough sleep. I think Trump accidentally told the truth here.
We don't need it at all.
We don't need it at all.
We don't need it at all.
Fair enough. So,
I mean, you could make the case, like, why are we even, we're doing it to help Israel and to help Saudi Arabia and to help Qatar and UAE and, Kuwait.
Oh, let's go through this list.
Why are we even, we're doing it to help Israel.
He's been given hundreds of millions of dollars by AIPAC adjacent people in the Adelsons. So there's money there.
And to help Saudi Arabia.
Billions of dollars given to his son-in-law and to his companies by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and to help Qatar.
Qatar gave him that jet, if you remember correctly, which is now going to be in his presidential library, and billions of dollars in investment.
And UAE. And
UAE is invested heavily in Trump's companies.
Kuwait and other countries.
I don't know anything about if Kuwait has done anything to help Trump. That might be the one that hasn't. I have no idea.
Bahrain.
So that's why we went to Iran? To help all these people who have given Trump money? He's just admitting that now?
It also helps China.
I told him today, I said, we're helping you. And we're helping.
Oh, and China. Okay, cool. Pamela said, fuck Trump dollar train. Woo woo. Thank you, Pamela.
You in another way, because I don't think China wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon either.
Nobody does.
I said, Just don't go crazy. You don't need them having a nuclear weapon either.
What did he say? What did he say?
Hey, Emma, we're all, and Mag, we can help you out here. We're all aware Trump's president, and we're all aware that he won. And yes, we're upset about it. We just talk about the topic we're talking about, though, would you?
Well, he's not going to respond too much. He's a pretty cool guy. He's not going to say, "Oh, gee, that's a good point."
I think he might.
What's he going to do?
Oh,
say,
I mean,
what a wonderful point.
You think he agreed?
Yeah, I think
that was the impression.
I don't think he wants him to have. No,
He's now like, yeah, she doesn't ever respond to anything because he's so cool. But he totally agrees with me. This guy got played.
He would like to see it end.
Allegedly.
But he's been good about it, you know. We don't need it at all.
So I guess that's why we went to Iran. This guy Fox said Trump's entire policy platform is just whatever the last person who talked to him said. It feels like that. That's not a crazy theory at all. That's why it's so incoherent. And it's so hard to talk to Trump people about it because Trump has taken every position possible on every single position. He's clueless. This dude just wakes up and takes guesses all day. Lee, thank you. Said, have a great weekend. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for being very generous today with this quick show. So appreciate all of you. Then to Trump in the press gaggle on the plane was asked, I think, a fair question by David Sanger from the New York Times, who, of course, Trump hates because it's the New York Times, and he's a thin-skinned bitch. But here's the question.
Repeating the bombing, you did it for 38 days. Well, no, we did, and you did not get the political changes in Iran.
No, I had a total military victory, but the fake news, guys like you.
Total military victory. He said, like, you did it for 38 days. You didn't get the political victory that you wanted. And Trump says total military victory. Okay, then why is the Strait of Hormuz closed? Why does Iran still exist? Why can they still fire missiles? Why can they still fire drones? How is total military victory jiving with the fact that we're still there, the strait is still closed, and they're still hitting us with drones? How in what scenario is that total military victory?
Like you, right incorrectly. You're a fake guy.
Oh, he's a fake guy.
Right about
Did you know he's AI? He's a fake guy. His insults are getting worse too as he gets older.
incorrectly. We had a total military victory. We knocked out their entire Navy. We knocked out their entire Air Force. We knocked out all of their anti-aircraft weaponry. We knocked out all of
How'd they shoot down your aircraft then?
their radar. We knocked out all of their leaders, number one, and then we knocked out all of their leaders in the 2nd Division, and we knocked out numerous of their leaders in the 3rd Division, and they're very confused. We've had a total victory, except by people like you that don't write the truth. You know, you should write. I actually think it's sort of some treasonous what you write. But
Treasonous that we won't lie and say total military victory. Treasonous. Emma, what are you doing? Get it together. Stay on topic. Do we have total military victory in Iran? Or are you just doing bumper stickers?
you and the New York Times and CNN, I would say, are the worst.
On another war.
You should know better. You're a professor. You know better. Your editors tell you what to write, and you write it. You should be ashamed of it.
Your editors tell you what to write, and you write it. He just asked you a question, you thin-skinned bitch. Nasri said, what's up, my brother? Natalie, thank you for joining the Dollar Train. Appreciate you guys.
I actually think it's treason. When you write like they're doing well militarily and they have no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-anything. By the way,
that's treason? It's treason to say that Iran is doing well militarily? Yeah, they have the strait closed. Seems like they're doing well. That's treason now? This the world's lowest IQ fascist doesn't know what any words mean ever. Jamar said blowjobs and cocaine, two things I've never done. Jamar.
We knocked out 85% of their manufacturing for missiles. We knocked out everything. We haven't knocked out other than one bridge, and we did because they misbehaved. But we have
that was a war crime, by the way. It's a war crime to take out their infrastructure that way.
bridges we could knock out. We could knock out their bridges and their electrical capacity within 2 days. We could knock out the whole thing. And then I read the New York Times, and they act like they're doing well. And everybody knows it. That's why your subscribers are way down.
You know, the Times subscribers are way down because
I wouldn't be talking about way down when you have the lowest polling of any president of our lifetime on literally every issue. I wouldn't be talking about somebody failing.
did you discuss Ukraine? Way down. Did you discuss Ukraine?
All right. Couple things, then we'll get out of here. 15 minutes. I got to cruise. I want to show this. It's what's Kesar's first name? Is it Greg Kesar? Am I wrong about that? Here he was talking to Linda McMahon, the education secretary. I think it's a fair question. I think it's probably not a place she has expertise in, all fairness. But I think this is a good question, and just goes to show once again, like how much money we fucking waste on the military and how much money we waste on these wars. There is no benefit from this war. We are going to get nothing from this war. We're going to spend billions of dollars. The military-industrial complex is going to make a fortune. The oil companies are going to make a fortune. You're all going to lose money. If we go back to I'll pull up the tracker here in a minute to see what we're at. How much it's cost the American people, not in taxpayer money, but like out of their own pockets so far since the start of this war. Could we just do something for the people here? Could we act a little bit more like China and stop and like just not invade countries all the goddamn time and take care of the people that live in our country? Could we do that?
Tell me how much more or less it costs to give a child free lunch at a public school.
Well, the Department of Education does not control. That's not part of our budget.
I know, but when the USDA does that funding, it's about $4.60 for a school lunch. Do you know about how much the average school teacher makes at a public school per year?
That varies across different states. It can be anywhere from 40-some thousand to 90-some thousand.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's about $64,000 on average nationwide. So
the problem is people believe what I'm saying. Yeah, what I'm saying is true. That's the real problem. The problem is that if you think that people are just believing what I'm saying, and you have a problem with that, I've asked you guys, correct one thing I've said today. Everything I'm saying is verifiably true, including this.
Here is an easy one because it's all over the news. Can you tell us how much Congress is being asked to vote on next week?
Yes, is it not in the country's best interest to weaken another country that it sees as an enemy? No, it's not in our best interest to do that. Not even a bit, Jacob. It benefits us zero. In fact, it's hurting us. Our prices are going up. It doesn't fucking matter what Iran's feelings are about us. No, it is not in our best interest to weaken Iran. Not even a little bit. In fact, I would argue that outside of the money that we're spending there, weakening Iran means that Israel is going to keep attacking Iran, and that's going to create more extremist groups. And so it won't be just Hezbollah and Hamas and I guess Al Qaeda is mostly gone, ISIS, any of these resistance groups that we label as terrorist groups, call them whatever you want. It's going to make more of those. In fact, a stronger Iran, let's be honest, I would rather have Iran on the cusp of building a nuclear weapon than a decimated Iran. Because I don't think Iran wants to use nuclear weapons. I think Iran wants to build nuclear weapons so that Israel stops fucking with them. That's what I think. That's a guess. But I think that I would be more comfortable with Iran having nukes than a Iran that's destabilized. If we've learned anything at all about the Middle East, is that destabilizing these countries leads to more war, more death, more money spent over there, more American lives lost. It never fucking works. I know that what I just said, that sounds crazy. I get that. And our politicians are mostly pussies. None of them will say that because they'd be excoriated across every news channel. It would be Fox, CNN, MSNBC. Everybody would hammer them. But I legitimately would rather have Iran be strong than weak. It benefits us more if Iran is strong.
For President Trump's ballroom?
I don't know that answer.
It's $1 billion. And you're a businesswoman, so I'm hoping you can help me do some math here. $4.60 for a school lunch, $1 billion for a ballroom. Can you tell me about how many free school lunches that $1 billion could pay for?
It is my understanding on the ballroom, excuse me, and I've heard the president.
That's a good question, and that's going to lead me to our next one. Who was that? Steve said, do you think there is a way to become partners with Iran to help each other? That's how we're going to end the show today. Thanks for the free segue there. But yes, there is.
Say this, the taxpayer dollars will not be used to build the ballroom, that they are donations from private enterprise.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll have entered into the record some
Phoenix said somebody should let Iran know that they're losing.
Republicans, this article from NBC yesterday, some Republicans aren't sold on $1 billion price tag for Trump's ballroom project in party line GOP bill.
Without objection.
We are voting on $1 billion in taxpayer dollars in addition to those private donations.
Andrew said, "For fuck Trump dollar train." Thanks for everyone on the RTP crew. Have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate that.
And so for those $1 billion in taxpayer dollars at $4.60 a lunch, that is 217,391,304 lunches. That's lunch for more than 1 million kids, 1 million Americans for the entire school year. But let's say that we're not going to talk about lunches because that's USDA. We can talk about teachers. At $64,000 a year, do we know how many new teachers we could hire if we sent $1 billion out to the states for reducing class sizes and hiring more teachers?
I'm sure you have that number.
Yes, it is 15,000 more teachers. Or we could pay for the Office of Civil Rights that's being cut in this budget 7 times over. I think you get the point. So here's my real question here. As Secretary of Education, which do you think helps our nation more? Getting free lunch to more than 1 million more kids, 15,000 more teachers, or the ballroom?
I think those are incredibly weird comparisons.
The answer is pretty obvious. Sherry said, "I was almost too late. Say my name." Sherry. That's one for today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And then we'll see you again on Monday. That's some funny shit. All right. This is the last video we've got to show today. I wanted to show Tim Kaine. Remember how Tim Kaine could have been vice president? And maybe Tim Kaine should have been in the seat to be president rather than Hillary Clinton. Well, the world will never know. But I'm a fan of Tim Kaine as a member of Congress. And again, I'm showing this video because somebody asked, what if we just were friends with Iran? What if we had actually tried that before? And what if I told you that perhaps Iran hates us because we fucked them over, and that they used to be on our side, and that they used to love us, and their hatred for us came only after we fucked them over and then turned them into the enemy and then started murdering all of their friends in the Middle East? What if I told you that? This is the last video we'll show today. Again, I have to get out of here early, go see my daughter's program at school. If we want to do a dollar trend, we can knock out the remaining balance of that gift goal by the end. If not, no big deal. I appreciate you guys, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. It's a short show, and it makes me feel really good that you're willing to support us even on short days. But here's Tim Kaine to answer the question, what if we just helped Iran? What if we just had a better relationship?
Senator Kaine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to our witnesses. President Trump's decision to unilaterally take the United States into a war with Iran is deeply unpopular in Virginia. We are a very pro-military state, a very pro-military state. And as I've traveled around Virginia and talked to Virginians, the unpopularity sort of gets crystallized into, have we learned nothing from 25 years of war in the region? 14,000 American troops and contractors died in the war on terror in Iraq and Afghanistan, more than 65,000 injured, $8 trillion spent. And Virginians who've watched their friends and family repeatedly deployed over the last quarter century have grave concerns about what was accomplished and was the sacrifice worth it. Our troops sacrificed so bravely. Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marzan, one of the 14 who have died in epic fury, Spotsylvania County, Virginia. Our Ford Carrier Strike Group just returned the longest post-Vietnam deployment of any carrier. Our folks sacrifice. They want civilian leaders to make the right decisions about whether and when and how they should sacrifice. And there's deep concern that in this instance, the decision is a wrong one. Part of it is a failure to really grapple with history. In the hearings in this committee, I've heard over and over again, and I've heard the President, Secretary of Defense talk about Iran's bad actions since 1979. And everything that's been said about Iran's bad actions are true. But there's a lot of the story that folks don't talk about. History didn't begin in 1979. Iran and the United States were allies in World War II. One of the pivotal events in World War II was the Tehran Conference, where President Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, Joseph Stalin met in Tehran to guarantee Iran independence, stable borders, and sovereignty. Iran loved the United States. The United States led a coup to topple the democratically elected government of Iran in 1953 during the Eisenhower administration. The United States propped up a dictatorship, the Shah of Iran, trained the secret police, the Savak, that tortured, exiled, imprisoned, killed Iranians by the thousands. And 26 years after that, there was a revolution, 1979, and yes, then it was death to America. The U.S. funding a dictatorship and toppling a democratic elected government led to an Iran that has been very hostile.
How's that for pro-democracy? How's that for pro-democracy? How's that for, why does Iran hate us? I can't believe it. They had democratic elections. The outcome was something we didn't like, so we toppled them and we put in a dictator. And then that dictatorship, like all dictatorships, eventually had the people revolt. And then the people revolted in Iran, and they correctly identified that they couldn't have democracy without the United States interfering. And the United States went, what the fuck? Now we can't control this? Now we're mad. And then, yeah, like you said, then death to America. Then they became the enemy. They became the enemy for revolting against us, overthrowing their government and staging a coup because we didn't like that the people of Iran exercised their voice in a democratic way. And that is conservatism 101. That is this brand of conservatism 101. That's why we call Donald Trump a fascist. That's why we don't like your foreign policy. It creates more enemies. It creates more instability. This tough guy act is nothing more than like bloviating posture to try and act tough when you're not tough. Real strength would be diplomacy. Real strength would be working with countries where you don't see eye to eye, but you find ways to work together. It's bitch shit what MAGA does. It's bitch shit what Trump does. It's bitch shit that we try and overthrow these governments. And then we play victim. I can't believe they don't like us.
And all the events my colleagues have talked about since then are accurate. But just as Iran seized our embassy in violation of international law, then the United States funded Saddam Hussein for Iraq to wage war against Iran in the 1980s, killing hundreds of thousands of Iranians. And just as Iran funded proxies that bombed a Marine barracks on our embassy in Beirut, the USS Navy shot down an Iranian civilian aircraft in 1989, killing 290 civilians. And the U.S. invaded Iran's next-door neighbors to topple their government. And then, yes, Iranians...
I agree with you, Jimmy. This administration needs to grow some balls and be a man and stop acting like children and do some real diplomacy and stop using the military as their way to measure dicks. I agree with you.
Attacked U.S. troops arrayed near their border, and we've attacked and killed their leadership. I'm not saying that Iran...
The Iranian people and conservatives now want a free Iran. Things have changed. No, they don't. They want the exact same thing, Maverick. They picked a leader. I forget the guy's name. In the chat, we'll tell you who it is. He literally lives in America. He has nothing to do with Iran. And the U.S. wants to put their own leader in there. And they want to force the Iranians to put this puppet in. And so that leader will be a puppet to Israel. They don't give a fuck about the freedom of Iran. They want Iran controlled. That's what this is about. This is about control. This is about, and Trump said it earlier, I'm doing this for Israel.
Is good. Iran is horrible. Horrible to its neighbors, horrible to people outside its borders, and even worse to its own people. But if you ignore the history of the back and forth between the U.S. and Iran, you will not get this right. If more war between the U.S. and Iran were the answer, we would have found the answer sometime between 1953 and now. Here's something I think it's important for my colleagues to know. We did look for a path, a diplomatic path, to end this hostility.
Good question, Greg. Instead of crying and complaining, why not put up a winning candidate? Good idea. Democrats should put up a winning candidate. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not crying and complaining. We're educating here. And I'm sorry that it's not surprising that conservative men take learning something new as a personal attack. This is new to me. This must be complaining. This doesn't jive with my views, so this must be complaining. How about we'll put up a good candidate, but why don't you guys stop putting up fucking pedophiles and crooks and rapists and people with an IQ of 45? We'll pick a good candidate. Why don't you guys pick one too?
That's been going on since 1953, and President Trump tore up a diplomatic deal over the advice of his Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State. And many of us said at the time, if you do this, it is likely to lead to Americans dying. If you make diplomacy impossible, you will make war inevitable. And I believe the troops who have been killed in Epic Fury would be alive today if the United States had not decided to abandon a diplomatic deal. Admiral Cooper, and to my colleagues on the committee, here's something that's pretty amazing that we shouldn't settle for. The administration is refusing to allow members of this committee to see the OLC opinion stating the legal case for war. We've always had the ability. We're armed services members. We're being asked.
Personal attacks are intellectually weak. Yeah, you're a Trump supporter, right? Yeah, shut the fuck up.
To fund
You shouldn't attack people personally. I love Donald Trump. Yeah.
$1.5 trillion budget, but our request to the DOJ to see the OLC opinion justifying this war, they have refused to allow members.
How's that for transparency? They won't even tell the people in Congress who represent you. They won't even tell you what the justification of this war is. That's where we're at. We're at a place with, like, you want to talk about no kings, you want to talk about fascism, you want to talk about a dictator. They won't even tell us. Our government, the same government that took us to Afghanistan and Iraq that everybody agrees was a colossal mistake. That same government's like, we don't have to tell you. We're not going to give you any answers.
The Armed Services Committee to see it. U.S. senators, appropriators, we're not allowed to see it. What are they hiding?
Yeah.
If they will not allow us to see the legal rationale for the war, what are they hiding? And Mr. Charles just conclude and say,
they're hiding that there was no legal justification. Trump said it earlier. We did this for Israel. We did it for Saudi Arabia. We did it for Qatar. We did it for the UAE. They gave me a bunch of money. I'm using our military as a way to pay them back for all the money that they fucking gave me. That's why they're not releasing this report, because there's no imminent threat. There was never an imminent threat. This is an unjustified, illegal war. And if Republicans lose in the midterms, Trump is going to be impeached for a third fucking time. And if somehow a couple of Republicans can find a spine, he might just get removed. He might be the first one ever to get removed. That's how bad this is. This is every bit as bad as Iraq, maybe even worse, because in Iraq, there was like this part of it's like, well, maybe you could give them a little bit of leeway because they got fucking duped by Netanyahu. There was no leeway here. After we took out their nuclear program, 6 months later, we're like, oh, we better kill them for the nukes. Trump is fucked on this. And you're fucked if you don't agree with that. Like, honestly, you are fucked in the head if you think this war makes any fucking sense at all, or that they're doing something for you, or if they're doing something for the Iranians. Trump did this for the friends who are giving him billions of fucking dollars. And people are dying. I'm late, and I'm going to wrap this up soon, but I'm about to go to a school to see my daughter just for a project that she worked on. And there's hundreds of parents sitting in Iran that cannot go to their daughter's school and see a project that they worked on or pick their kid up. They don't get to see their kids smile when they show up. When school's over, they can't go pick them up and have their daughter run into their arms. Why? Because they're fucking dead. Because we fucking killed them. Because we triple tapped their fucking school. We murdered kids. Because Trump's friends gave him money and they hate Iran. And we've murdered thousands of innocent people for this shit. I don't give a fuck if the Iranians hate me. I don't give a fuck if every daughter at that school had parents who wake up every morning and look their daughter in the eye and go, death to America. I do not give a single fuck if that was every one of their beliefs. Those children didn't deserve to die. Not an apology from this administration. They wouldn't even admit it. They lied about it. They're like, oh, actually, Iran bombed their own school with our weapons. Not even an apology. We're bombing their infrastructure. We're committing war crimes. As a person, as a human, as somebody who loves, if you love anybody in your life, please just try and put yourself in a position where the person that you love the most is gone and you never get to see that person again. And the justification for that person being dead is, oh, well, some people around them didn't like the person who bombed them and they thought the person who bombed them should die. Yeah, you'll accept that. For sure. We're sick. We are a terrorist country. We are the terrorists. We're the ones that do unjust things. I'm so like I can't even look at Hezbollah and Hamas and ISIS and Al Qaeda and be like, oh, they are the bad guy. They're not. They did horrific things. They shouldn't murder either. But I can't look at them and be like, oh, they're actually way worse than us. No, we're worse.
We might, as a committee, whatever our agreements about the wisdom or the legality of the war, I hope we might, as a committee, agree that we should.
I don't care if Native black people or Native indigenous people hate me for what I did to their people. No, I don't. It doesn't bother me at all.
At least in a classified setting, be able to read the legal opinion upon which this entire 76-day war is based. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just can't get any transparency. They just won't tell us the truth. And the truth is, we did it for Israel. Trump is the most corrupt politician ever to exist in this country. And he is now admitting, just because he can, because it's fucking an army of brain dead cultists. They don't even care. He's just out there like, yeah, I did this for them. They gave me a whole bunch of money and I did it for them. I can speak for the black race when I say RTP is good with us. I appreciate that. But even if they're like, you guys know, I forget his name. Casso. Casso's a person that I really respect. I've sat on panels with Casso when he's like, it's all white people. Like, I get that. I get that anger. Like, I don't care that Casso says shit like that. I don't care that Casso's like, we need to band together and like, yeah, we don't need to include like white people in this movement. I'm fine with that. Who gives a shit? Who fucking gives a shit? I don't care. I get it. The people who've caused Casso and his family problems are people that look like me. Fine. I don't care. Now, if he comes and attacks my family for it, I'm going to have a problem with Casso. If he doesn't, we're good. You can have that. And I still respect him. Still think he's a good person. Amy said being able to see our daughters. Yeah. Facts. Mary, thank you. I'm a pot said Dollar Train. Let's go. Ed said choo choo. Christina said here for the Dollar Train. Jocelyn, thank you very much. Colin, thank you. M. Dub said, how dare you leave us to be a good dad? Just joking. Enjoy your afternoon with your daughter. I think I got that. Sean, thanks for joining the Dollar Train. Jennifer said, have a great weekend, Jay and Jen. Jamar said, good luck to your daughter. Thank you. She won't need it. She'll just perform like she always does. She's the consummate performer. Raina said, an awesome short show. Thank you. Gail said, Dollar Train, choo choo. Have a great weekend. Alberto said, thanks for your great work. Nasri said, I got that one from Nasri. Said, what's up, my brother? Got those. Jen, did I miss any? I don't think I did.
Really poorly sent.
U.S. hit the school. Kids died immediately. Then watched the principal lead the surviving kids into a prayer room for shelter. The U.S. then sent a second strike to the prayer room, killing most of the kids and the principal inside. If you can't find the humanity in yourself to be absolutely heartbroken and devastated by the actions of the United States military in double tapping and murdering children in a school, with all due respect, go fuck yourself. Love isn't just for white people. Love isn't just for Americans. People love their kids. Our government does shitty things all the time. Our government consistently does shitty things, and sometimes people act out and hurt Americans for the actions of our government. That's what 9/11 was. It was a response to our government's actions. And again, I don't want to get like Hassaned here, but I don't want to say, and I'm not saying that it was deserved, but those people who died on 9/11 would not have died if it weren't for the incredibly corrupt actions of our government in the Middle East and our consistent ability to prop up a group 1 minute and stab them in the back the next, because we don't believe in diplomacy. We believe in using our military force for rich people to get more and more rich and to gain more and more power. And I'm sick and fucking tired of you bullshit Christians, you bullshit MAGA Christian conservatives who wear those giant fucking crosses on your neck and then justify the murder of innocent people over and fucking over again. If Jesus came back today, you would be the Pharisees. He would be overturning the tables at your house. You would be the enemy. It would be each and every one of you. And I hope some of you soon wake the fuck up and recognize that you don't represent the values that you claim that you do. You've sold out to an absolute fucking charlatan. And I'll leave that for the weekend. Until I see you guys on Monday morning, thank you so much for your generosity. Greg got in last minute, said, have a great weekend, brother. Thanks, Greg. I love you. Good to see you. Until I see you guys on Monday. Oh, another one. Sandra said, sorry, I'm late. That's okay. Until I see you guys on Monday, take care of yourselves. Go outside this weekend and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. And I mean it. Get outside. Get away from your phones for a little bit. The world is a troubling place right now. But the world is going to be far more troubling if we all let it get us down and we stop talking about things, having discussions, and fighting for what we believe is right. So get out there and enjoy it this weekend. We will see you Monday morning, bright and early, and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on Twitch and on YouTube. And from the bottom of my heart, I mean it. Until I see you guys on Monday again, I will miss you greatly. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to yourself. Drink lots of water. Stay cute and cool. And have a great, 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 great fucking summer.